the authors. Any content provided by our bloggers or authors are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, municipality, individual, or anyone or anything.
He's a surgeon. He's a 100-ton boat captain. He's a lieutenant on Seaside Heights Beach Patrol in New Jersey. He's a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary. He's Dr. Michael Kachmar. Need answers to your medical questions? We have them. Listen in to hear latest on medical topics related to all that and more.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. Today's date is Friday the 13th, the year of our Lord 2023. Ooh. We're gonna have to throw some what do you call blessings around here. So we have Jeremy today. Jeremy, say hello.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Jeremy, why don't you fix your camera there a little bit so we get Jeremy fixed up here a little bit. There you go, Jeremy. You got your can there and beautiful. So anyway, Jeremy, thank you. Jeremy's my sidekick, and this is Scrubbing Up with Dr. Michael Kachmar. You can throw some stuff up there for us. I'm a board-certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon. What was that noise? I heard a noise.
There's a triangle.
Oh, it's a triangle. Okay. I'm a board-certified reconstructive foot and ankle surgeon on staff at multiple hospitals. And this is a medical, political, informational show.
It's a mixed bag.
And we're on everything. We're on YouTube. We're on Rumble. We're on Facebook. We're on Twitch, Twitter, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And
That's
Jeremy, how about you throw some of the information out there? If they want to get a hold of us, they could go to send us an email at drkachmar.
Yeah, that's drkachmar.
So there it is. For our people on Spotify, it's drkachmar at iCloud.com. And we have a webpage that's really very informative for people who want to look at medicine. It's Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center.com.
That's right.
Jersey Shore Foot and Leg Center.com. We're going to get into some next show. We're going to talk a lot about surgery, specifically bunion surgery. It's crazy stuff that they got out there. This minimal incision shit, and people from these big schools are pushing it. I mean, it just makes no sense. You think the politics is crazy, medicine's crazy. And it's a wild, wild west out there. Whatever these guys could think about and gals could think about doing, they're doing. Anyway, let's start today because we got a day. Let's start at our whiteboard, and I want to talk about this football player who fell down after getting hit.
Damar Hamlin, right?
Yeah, Damar Hamlin, and we talked about him my other show. But let me make a point here. So I want to praise the people that took care of him. First of all, he got hit, and you think about it. He's a 20-something-year-old athlete. The trainers went out there. I think the last thing they're thinking in their mind is that this guy's having a heart attack. Right. Maybe a broken neck, maybe just knocked out, a little injury. But it's not that easy sometimes to decide and to tell if somebody is not breathing and not having a pulse. Right. Trust me, I've done it multiple times. So they picked it up and they immediately did, CPR and did the shocked him with the AED. Let me tell you what goes on because I've done that. I've done that in the boardwalk a couple years ago. Oh. So I just want to give you, and I tell you that's why I'm so impressed. But not just the people on the field, but the people who transported him and the people in the hospital. And I'll give you what I can't tell you what happened with him, but I'm going to tell you what happened with my patient and patients that I've had. I just finished taking a shower up in the headquarters. I'm a lifeguard, and we got called on the radio that somebody collapsed on the boardwalk, which was right out front of our headquarters. So I didn't even have a shirt on. I think I had shaving cream on. I think I was still shaving. I ran down and took the AED and went with another lifeguard. I got down there, and people were around. Somebody said, I think she's breathing, and what she was doing, she was gasping. It's called agonal breaths. They're not breathing. She's not, but it looks like that. Right. And she had a shirt on, and underneath that was a bathing suit. And she was a woman probably in her 60s, 50s, 60s, right around there. Okay. So I look at her, and first thing I do is, you look, listen, and feel. Yeah, and I tilt her head back, to get her in a good position. Try to get a history. All this is going on in seconds. And I realized that she has no pulse, and the breathing wasn't normal breathing. And I could see she started, get discolored. You could actually see them; they start to turn gray. So I took the scissors out of my bag, and so the first thing I had to do was cut her clothes off, which in itself, there's a crowd of people around the walk. Now there's police. I take scissors and cut her shirts off, cut her bathing suit, and her breasts are exposed, her chest is exposed, and I start CPR. Of course, at this point, everybody's just looking at me. Now, we have the AED. You start doing the CPR. You'll do a certain amount, usually 2 minutes worth. And then I also some people use a bag to breathe for the patient, or you could breathe with your mouth. We have these ambu bags. Sometimes it's used, sometimes it doesn't. I used it. So basically, at this point, I'm doing everything. Right. And then we get the AED set up. The lifeguard had it. The other guy was setting it up. And then we put it on, and we let it analyze. Now, here's a good thing about AED. It will not shock. It will not give a shock. It will not ask for a shock. It will not tell you to give a shock unless there's an arrhythmia, there's something wrong with the heart. Right. So let's just say you don't know if somebody's dead, or they're just drunk, but you're concerned, and you start CPR. It's not the end of the world. And if you put the AED on, it's gonna, if it's the guy's okay, it's not gonna shock him or the girl. Right. And and then you have some time. You can look around a little bit. Maybe they are breathing. If they don't shock them, that means they could be dead. The heart's just nothing. Because you're not going to, there's a thing called asystole where the heart's just flatline. You're not going to shock that either because it does nothing. It has to be some kind of activity. And usually it's abnormal activity. Right. So I think it's always good to throw it on. So the patient I had, I shocked her the first time. And when you see somebody get shocked, they come off the ground. I mean, it's violent. It's pretty significant. It's not like in the movie. I don't know, at the movies. And then you start CPR again. You don't want to interrupt it. And CPR has got to be done. Basically, you put your hand between the breasts, and you're pumping, and you got to go down a certain amount. And everybody should train for that. It's a really good thing to know how to do. And then after another 2 minutes, the machine analyzes it, and then my machine said, shock again. Of course, we make sure nobody's touching, nobody's around. Yeah,
clear.
And you shock it again. And then you start immediately. And we did that, and at the same time, more help came, paramedics came. I was going to then, get somebody else to do chest compressions. You don't want to do it too long. You get tired. Your technique gets a little bit decreased.
Yeah, so you're not doing it as efficiently as you
right. So the paramedics came, and they took over. And at that point, I don't remember exactly, but I think it wasn't calling for a shock anymore. I don't think we did any more. 3 were with a charm, and she was stable, and she had a heart rate, a beat, and whatever it was. I think she was breathing on her own at that time. So now it's not over though. She's not, did she get brain dead? How long was she, how much oxygen did she lose? Now here's where the critical next phase, the paramedics in the ambulance, they're getting IVs going. They're giving her medicine. They're putting a 12 lead, which is a very sophisticated EKG system, trying to figure out. They got communications with the hospital. What's going on? What do we want to give? There's medications you could give.
So ahead of time, they know what to prepare and for.
They know what to prepare, but they also are helping the paramedics to decide what to give, what medication. There's other things you could do from a medical standpoint, okay? Medications that could save the patient also. Now you get to the hospital, and now what they do is they call it's called a cold coma, or a cold code. COOL. Then code, CODE. So like you say, code red, code green. So this is code cold. And what you do is you reduce the temperature of this patient, their body core. And what does that do? It preserves the brain. Oh. Preserves the brain. Let's assume, I don't know how long I got there before she was out and how effective our CPR. You got, and some people say 4 minutes, some people say 10 minutes before your brain is dead. And so they put him in a cold coma, and my patient was intubated. She's out in the intensive care unit. And now you have a whole nother group of people that got to be on the mark. So in other words, I had to be on the mark. Somebody had to call me quick, number one. Right. Number two is I had to realize at that time that CPR should have been started. Some people think they're breathing. They would have let her go for a while. So the critical point is somebody calling the people or starting the CPR or identifying that the patient needs it. So she fell down, somebody communicated. I got there, I realized I had the skills to realize start going. The machine was there. Thank God you have an AED, and it worked.
Yeah.
Next thing is the paramedics. They took over. They supported that patient.
Nobody can drop the ball though from there to the hospital. Nobody.
No. Then you got the hospital. They had to do their magic. And with her, what happened with her, and I hope happens with this patient, is that she came out of it, and I think her and her husband, they have a running joke, something like, did you take the garbage out? So, I don't know what exactly. And the first thing she said when she opened her eyes out, and they, and she goes, "Did he take the garbage out?" And at that point, everybody knew that she's probably pretty sharp. I tell you what, I don't want to get Barbara Walter on you, but I definitely was very emotional about that. Everybody was so happy because it doesn't always work that way. Right. I want to make a point. I mean, I know he's young, but it's rare. Right? Some people say 50%. Some people say up to 10%.
To survive something like
survive
that.
Yeah. I mean, everything's got to go bang, 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 bang. So I'm going to go back and just kudos out to the people, everybody. The trainers on there, and then and all the way to the hospital, to the rehab. Now, hopefully he'll be fine. I don't know, but I want to make another point about this case. See, I have down there God. Yeah. Did you see all the players that were praying and the players that came out and said, God was here, Jesus Christ was here?
They stopped the game.
Did you see how quick? But did you see how quick the left bailed out on this whole thing?
Right.
I mean, I get people on the internet, like Twitter and stuff, call me an idiot, tell me, Christ is a fantasy, how can you be a scientist, all this happy shit. But it's interesting. Everybody was all like, yeah, until some of the players went, God, and then all of a sudden the left turned away and ran for the hills because it's not in there, they're democratic socialist atheists, so. Right. Anyway,
what's this big G stuff you're talking about here? Nah.
Anyway, listen, and this is going to piss off some people, but to this patient, what's his name, Jeremy?
Damar
Hamilton. I pray for you. I pray that Jesus Christ gives you a speedy recovery and a complete recovery.
Definitely.
And everybody to the left, sorry.
Yeah. Keep walking.
Keep walking. Anyway, that's a good one. So the moral to that story is it took a lot of people to come together, and I want to give everybody an applause because I've done it, and I can tell you right now, that to him to start CPR and make that decision. I mean, it took him. He had a couple seconds to make that decision.
It's
if he waited
time, right?
I tell you, those guys are well trained, man. Plus, he's young, the kid, but and again, what caused it? I have no idea. It doesn't. I don't want to get into that whole thing.
Everybody came up with their ideas and stuff.
That's nothing. Okay, let's go to the next thing. So here you go, everybody. The United States
extends public health emergency status
for COVID. Go to the videotape, as we say.
Let's go to the videotape.
So this is out of Reuters. This was published January 11th, 2023. U.S. extends public health emergency status for COVID. I just want people to understand what that means. So I'll read it a little bit here. The U.S. Health Department on Wednesday extended the COVID-19 pandemic status as a public health emergency, allowing millions of Americans to continue receiving free tests, vaccines, and treatments. It also allows, they don't tell you here, it also allows the federal government to pretty much, if they want, trash the Constitution. Of course, I'm being facetious, but you could get out of here, Jeremy. What it can do is it gives the executive, which is the President of the United States, for anybody who doesn't know their history, sweeping powers. When you have a state of emergency, just like in New Jersey when there's a snowstorm, the governor declares a state of emergency. Well, then he could go close the parkway. He could close schools. He could ba-bing. He can make you sit inside your house and in your underwear with a green hat on and smoke.
They would love it if it was always an emergency status,
So my point is that, we basically, we gave the President of the United States dictatorship powers. Even though everybody's talking about Trump was a dictator, don't get me on my, but again, why do I just talked to the ER docs in my hospitals. Pretty much nobody's dying from COVID. Most of the cases in the hospital are the regular flu, which is beating up a lot of people.
Right.
Why do we need a health emergency? Listen, if you want to give free shit out, that's fine. But my point is that there's sweeping powers. And I think in New Jersey, by the way, we still have a medical emergency in New Jersey.
Yeah.
So again, let's say Jeremy,
variant that's flopping
let's
around.
Jeremy.
Yeah.
Hey, kudos to the kings,
Oh yeah.
to the kings,
All hail.
to dictators. Yeah,
All hail the king.
but we're
Long live the
anti-democracy.
king.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
social democracy, man, social democracy. You know, and then you slip. Social democracy is like it's like a ice pond, and as soon as you slip, you go right into communism. So yeah, keep walking down that road.
Right.
All right, let's get off the soap opera. Next one, I love this one. This is a great one. Don't go to video yet. Hang on, I got to pull it up. But read the one.
A store that sells heroin, meth, and crack. Well,
Jeremy, come on. If you're gonna sell,
choices there, huh?
listen. This is a store. This guy.
Well, I had meth yesterday.
So this is our.
I'll try the crack, maybe. Yeah.
Let me give you before you go anywhere. Listen, Canada, right? When we have the Revolutionary War, right? The people who didn't want, freedom, didn't want to, go down the road of, the First Amendment, Second Amendment, free speech, freedom of religion. They all hightailed up to Canada. Okay, just don't give you some historical.
Oh, thank
you. Okay,
Yeah.
I know. Anyway, so now Canada, they passed these laws. We talked about it last week, where they're going to allow or talk about now euthanasia, where if you're mentally ill, they'll kill you anyway. They'll knock you off if you're sick.
In Canada.
Right, but in Canada, they're talking about now. If you're schizophrenic or whatever.
If you're depressed.
Yeah, if you're depressed.
Like you broke up with your girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't live anymore. Yeah. All right, then walk into this chamber here.
Yeah. Well, listen, you think about it. If you're running, listen, get rid of everybody who don't want to be around. Get rid of the weak. Get rid of the old. Get rid of the young. Let everybody smoke and drink and use crack, and they die. But we're gonna take the guns away from you for your own good. So my point is,
in Futurama, they had these suicide booths.
Right.
You could just walk in, it disintegrated you, and then that was that.
But Jeremy, listen, maybe I'm getting senile. Maybe I was never that smart.
Maybe.
But let me ask you this. I look at Canada, and let's just look at this Canadian thing. Okay. You could, if you're old and decrepit and you got some illness, you could kill yourself. The doctors will help you. The government will pay for it because everything up there is socialized medicine.
Mazel tov.
Now, I don't know if you're deformed or you're a baby if they'll do that, but it's down the road. But if you're mentally ill, which is, I don't know, what is define that? You could off yourself. Or they're pushing that bill.
If we're talking like Down syndrome and stuff, now we're swinging into what the Nazis were doing.
Right. Now they're going to pass a law that you could have a certain amount of drugs in your pocket, and that's not. I'm talking about heroin, meth, and crack.
Nice.
Now I think they have it already. Yeah. And that's all. Why? Because listen, we want to help you. We're there for you. But right. So to me, that's not being there for you. Killing you, you're dead. You do all of this stuff is encouraging you to die. Yeah. But Jeremy, we're going to take your guns away from you. You know why? Because we don't want you to hurt yourself.
Right.
Why don't you just let the friggin' people keep their guns so they...
I like a country that looks out for me.
Because
I don't know. I'm a big schmuck. I don't know what to do,
I don't...
Somehow I've managed to stay alive this long, but now I think I need help from the government.
Why don't you just save the money, Canada? Let the people keep their guns, and if they don't feel good, they could just shoot themselves.
Do a purge. Do a purge if it's that bad out there.
Listen, you can't kill yourself with a gun because you're not going to have a gun, but we'll kill you for you.
Anything. You can kill your neighbors. You can rape them. You can do anything you want one day out of the year.
All right, let's go. So go to the videotape. You got to love this one here. This is, I don't know, Jeremy. These people are crazy. So this guy here, it actually says this guy plans to open up a store that sells heroin, meth, and crack. John Martin knows he'll get arrested if he opens up a store in Vancouver that sells heroin meth because you can't sell it. That's the whole idea, he said. So here it is. Vancouver man is planning to open what could be Canada's first store that sells heroin, cocaine, meth, MD, and other drugs as a way to reduce the rising number of deaths stemming from the overdose crisis. So he's 51 years old. He wants to open up a brick and mortar store. And here's the thing:
That
by the end of January, here's the thing, he wants to open up shop by the end of January when British Columbia's new drug decriminalization policy kicks in. Follow me on this one, Jeremy.
Sure.
The pilot project, which will last for 3 years, will mean it's no longer illegal to possess up to 2.5 grams of opioids, crack, and powder cocaine, meth, and MDMA. So it's legal. It's not so right now. Selling those drugs will remain illegal. I don't know where they're going to get it from. But Martin, a former cocaine user, well, there's your ding, 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 red flag, red flag. Former cocaine user believes providing drugs that have been tested for contaminants will save the lives of drug users. Contaminated with fentanyl, that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, the other people will just go get fentanyl. It's interesting.
Scroll up a bit.
Up this way?
No, keep going.
Keep
going.
Up this way.
Stop. Wait. Go down.
Right.
Slightly. Right there. Who needs drugs when you can just look at this carpet for 5 minutes? Look at that thing, man. That's tripping me out.
So here he goes. I go here. He goes. Martin, who used to run weed dispensary in Whitewood, blah blah, goes on. He says he'll keep a minimum amount of drugs on site to avoid robbery. And he goes, I already got myself a bulletproof vest, he said, adding that he'll also have bulletproof glass and security outside. He said employees may be required to wear a mask in order to offer more anonymity. He can't have a gun.
Hold on a second. How into this are you that you're willing to go through all of this stuff? Bulletproof vests, all of this jazz, just to be able to sell illegal drugs?
So he goes here, every day I'm not open, more people die. I can't open fast enough. So here's the thing. He says that
so
people.
What's different? What's different about what he's selling?
It's not fentanyl.
It's not.
So these are safer. So what he's saying. Wait, let me just make this guy. This is what happens when. Look at this guy right here. This is what happens when you do drugs. He's saying basically in this article that it's safer for him to sell heroin, crack cocaine, right? Methamphetamines, Percocets. Right? That's what he's saying. It's safer. It's safer for him to sell that, right? Because people are getting right here. He's going to sell heroin, cocaine, meth, and all of this stuff. How about So let me ask you something, idiot. Nobody dies from cocaine.
Right.
Oh no, cocaine's safe. You know how many people have arrhythmias? They get a cardiac arrhythmia and they drop dead.
Yeah.
Strokes. I tell you, heroin. I used to work in Philadelphia as a doctor. People died of heroin all the time. I mean, bad. I mean, this guy.
He's like the new E.F. Hutton, but the hair club for men. But now it's just drugs.
He kind of reminds me of. He looks a little bit like who's Biden's son? What's Biden?
Hunter Biden.
Listen, I think Hunter Biden should have been president of the United States. I'm telling you, man. I would, that would have been. He would have been great. I can see him go up to the podium. Can you see him go up to the podium with a cigarette, hanging from his mouth?
No, like a crack pipe just hanging around his mouth. Yeah.
Oh man. So you can't. But here's the thing, though. Canada is. But you missed the buried lead here, Jeremy. You missed the buried story here. Look what I said here. The pilot project. This isn't so. January, which is now. British Columbia's new drug decriminalization policy kicks in. The pilot program, which lasts 3 years, will mean it is no longer illegal to possess up to 2.5 grams of opioid, crack, or powder cocaine, or meth. But here's the thing. It's still against the law to sell it. So if you're a government and you are going to let people have it,
right,
that means they're going to get it from somewhere.
Right.
So you're encouraging freaking drug dealers. You're encouraging illegal. Jeremy, stop. You're encouraging drug dealers to sell illegal drugs.
In the past weeks, we on our shows, I've been screaming about how are things illegal yet they can have stores open up, or they can.
Well, he's going to
take
get
away.
closed.
I mean, this is crazy, man.
Well, he can't. He's not allowed. You know, he
and like E.F. Hutton, he's not just the owner. He's also a customer.
How about this? So I'm reading here. Ideally, Martin would like to rent a storefront in downtown East Side, but said he's having trouble nailing down a location to lease because his credit rating is poor due to years of court battles
when you're
tied to his weed dispensary.
When you're selling heroin and cocaine, it's all about location. Yeah.
He's considering buying a trailer that can operate as a mobile store until he could find more. You know, I think the article. You could go back to me, Jeremy. It's so. This is how when you go down this road, think about what we're talking about. The Canadian government.
Yeah.
We're gonna get rid of all guns.
Where are we living now, man?
No, we don't. But why? Because we don't want the guns because you're gonna hurt yourself. Why don't they want the guns? Maybe because they don't want people to have power. But we're gonna let you kill yourselves with all the drugs you want, and if that's not enough, we'll kill you for you.
Yeah.
Listen, you don't feel good? You're depressed? Jeremy, come over here.
Don't buy drugs. Save your pennies.
Here.
We'll take you out. Why not?
Maybe if they take all the guns away from everybody, they could use those guns when you go in and get depressed. They take you in the back and put a bullet in the back of your head like they do in China.
See this? This is the one you wanted, right? Okay.
Anyway, I'm just sitting there going, my God, I can't. I don't even. I can't even. Say, I think that sums it up.
The fact that there are people in power that are like, well, tell me more about this. You know, like they're involved, they're engaged.
How about this, Canada? How about this? Have Biden close the friggin' border, stop the drugs from coming up, you catch somebody who's selling drugs, lock them up. Lock them up for 20 years, whatever. I know Trump wants to execute them. You know, you want to stop, and then people who are doing it, get them friggin' help. I agree with that. These people are using drugs because they're economically, they don't have they're poor, whatever, they're depressed. We have a sick society. Get them into church. Get them into something. You know, but my point is to give them more drugs is not the answer. It's never been the answer. I don't say put them in jail and lock and throw away the key. I'm saying the people who sell it throw away the key. The people who are using it, get them help.
Now for this,
but stop the stuff from coming in. Stop the stuff from coming. This is all coming in from you know, where's fentanyl? Most of fentanyl is made in China.
Yeah,
I know. You know where cocaine is coming from? Dominican Republic, Venezuela. It goes different routes. I don't know about the other stuff. Crystal meth is made in, again, that comes from the border.
Or someone's basement.
Nah, I don't think they make it too much anymore. They've cracked down on that. So, okay, what were we going to say?
What they should do with like the euthanasia stuff is they got Niagara Falls. Just chuck them in the barrel.
Yeah.
And then televise it.
Don't make
right?
Don't make
and then at the bottom, you have like 5 boats. Whichever one it lands in, and they're all points. It's like the lottery. So, all right, guys, we're sending 4 people over. Let's see what today's lotto numbers are. You know, thump, number 5.
All right, let's go. Let's go to my whiteboard. So we're going fire. Here's the next one. So children, this is what falls right into this. The United States, you know, everybody's pushing edibles. Yeah. Because, you know, if you smoke marijuana, go on the CDC, everyone. Marijuana is not safe. Marijuana is not safe.
You got to have a protective place, a lockbox or something. If you're going to have that stuff, we were talking about this.
A medicine cabinet.
Yeah, I was talking about this, I think, with Matt. We were talking about like these people. They have lockers for their guns, but they don't have anything to put their drugs in.
You're right. Here's the thing with medical marijuana. Period.
Yeah.
CDC. Tons of cardiovascular disease if you smoke it. Same carcinogens as cigarettes. Studies are coming out more and more. Young children smoking at 12, 13, 14 years old, it affects their brain. Women who are pregnant, it affects the fetus. Just as bad as cigarettes, if not worse. And you know what? I have some young friends, Mike. They're like, Mike, what do you care? Why do I care? This is a new thing I see now. People are like, Mike, why do you care about Canada? What do you care about, you know, anything? And I'm like, dude, what do you...
Canada's our closest neighbor.
No, it doesn't matter.
It's like right there.
But that's not the point. They say, why do you care about anything? You have a generation now are like, why do you care if somebody commits suicide? Why do you care if somebody overdoses? Why do you care if it goes on and on and on? Why do you care if somebody wants to have their balls cut off and So the thing, my point is you have this idea of what difference does it make? And we live in a society, we're all together, and eventually it's going to affect all of us. Once you give up your rights, there'll be somebody who will take over. And I can tell you right now, it's a good chance it's going to be the Chinese. And when you don't have your freedom of speech, your freedom of religion, and your freedom from fear, and they tell you to jump and you don't jump, and you wind up with a boot on your neck. Right. Talk to the people who were in the concentration camps over the years. Talk about, go back in history and look. But I digress. Anyway, let's talk.
Pop it over to the board again.
Let's go. Let's talk to this next thing because I'm talking about the edibles.
I just wanted to say that these edibles are dangerous for your children. All right, I understand married couples with kids. They want to just sit back at the end of their day and chill. But the problem is these edibles are being manufactured to emulate children's candies. So I mean, like for those who have bought like edible nerd rope, well, it looks just like, even the packaging, Mike, looks just like the Willy Wonka nerd rope you would buy in a candy store.
I understand.
I mean, that's some dangerous shit.
Okay, well, let's talk about how significant this is. Let's talk about how, and because they could kill these kids and the animals too, the dogs and the cats. Well, no, it's safe. It's safe. And in New Jersey, let me just say, New Jersey, the governor, we passed. You have to be 21 years old to use marijuana, unless you're under 21. Governor Murphy passed a law right after the first law. It's an amendment. It's called the Butt Law. I call it the Butt, B-U-T. It should be B-U-T-T law. Yeah. If you're under 21, it's not criminal. It's not delinquent. You could smoke it out in public. The cops cannot arrest you. They could give you a warning, and they're not even allowed to tell your parents. Stop hitting the table. You're gonna break it.
Sorry.
You cannot. And so let's go back to here. Go, Mike. Go to the video here. I want to show you what's going on here. Go to the video. So here you go. Now listen. Look at this number. The number of children who accidentally. This article, by the way, is January 5th, 2023. Number of children who accidentally ate cannabis edibles jumped 1,375%. That's not a number. That's percentage.
In 5 years, study finds.
Percentage. Do you understand? Now go back here. Look. So look right here. This is unbelievable. That's the percentage. So there were more than 7,000 exposures to edible cannabis in kids under 6 years between 2017 and 2021. So in 2017 there were 207 that they were reported. That's what was reported. There's more. By 2021, 3,054 were published. And that's probably because they went to the hospital. They were so bad. How many kids ate it and you never knew?
Yeah.
Or they never reported it. Yeah. Okay? That's 3,000. It's probably going to go to 4,000. It's just shits all over the place. Now, that's not talking about now, Jeremy, the fentanyl that looks like Skittles that are killing kids.
Yeah.
Okay? And, I want to just keep here. So it says, honestly, we knew it was increasing. I work in the emergency department. He goes on. And the researchers couldn't get exactly why such a significant increase, but thinks it's multi-factor. So why? Why is it? Because it's around.
And there was a significant spike during the pandemic years, she said, when children were home more often.
Well, here you go. In 2022, study shows that people in the United States U.S. that legalized recreational cannabis use 20% more frequently than in states that don't legalize it. So if you have a state that's legalized marijuana, people use more. You encourage it. You groom it. Jeremy, listen to what I just said. If you outlaw it, what do you think is going to happen in Canada when they say you could use crack and meth and heroin? It's not. It's going to increase the usage.
Sure it is.
Duh.
Sure it is, and then some jackwipe is going to say.
Now here it goes.
Well, it's against the law until you're 21. 21's the legal age to do it, but under 21, you can just do it anyway. We don't care. There's no laws that are actually, written in stone anymore. They're all written on tissue.
Well,
and that's the problem.
So here it says, research have found that the packaging of some edible products, especially those available on the black market looks nearly identical to the real thing. There are knockoff Doritos, Cheetos,
Nerd Rope,
candy, for example.
There's your Nerd Rope and Gushers candy,
Right.
for example. Large food companies have sued many of the companies selling these products.
Good luck.
But they're still available.
See that?
Yeah.
So you keep going here. This is again. So the package warning, and who's selling this? The state of New Jersey's giving licenses. They sell this.
Yeah.
Children
Look,
here.
These are legitimate products that have barcodes and everything.
So here you go. Here you go. Right here. Whoa, I'm sorry. Hang on. Get back here. Let me see. Let me sign. The child's exposure to cannabis have serious consequences. Listen to this now. A child's exposed to cannabis can have serious consequences. They can become very sick and have problems walking, sitting, breathing, according to the U.S. Center. Many of the outcomes in the study were unclear, but in nearly a quarter of the cases, toddlers were admitted to the hospital. There was significant increase both in intensive care and non-intensive. What is the long-term effect? We don't know. Here, common problems, heart problems, confusion, vomiting, trouble breathing, on and on and on. Maybe increased chance of cardiovascular disease. We don't know. I want people to go to CDC and read this stuff, but you are crazy. In New Jersey, your kids could use it and they can't even tell you. Think of what I'm saying, Jeremy. The police,
this
kids are...
This is what he's saying here, though.
Where?
He says this Nemanich says edible cannabis products should come in plain, neutral, opaque, white packaging. Now, the gummies I get do come in that kind of packaging. He's talking about all these other ones that duplicate it. I mean, there's Fruity Pebbles with Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble on it, and they're gummy chocolate bars with Fruity Pebbles in it.
Jeremy, it's a narcotic. Listen, it's not a narcotic. It's a drug. Kids, first of all, they're not selling it to kids, but in New Jersey, if you possess edibles and you're 12 years old, the cops cannot do anything. It's not. Wait, let's just stop. You can't have cigarettes. You can't have, now, even alcohol. And cigarettes, the cops are not going to give a shit. Again, just like Canada, we are in New Jersey, we are encouraging use. Why don't we have a law in New Jersey where when the edibles, they got to go in a bottle that's childproof?
Right.
But
see, like,
how about if your child, if you have a child and he gets into your edibles, you go to jail.
Right.
But you can't go to jail because
I am. Like I see something that looks like I just want my gummy for my neuropathy and all of that jazz.
And Jeremy, you're an adult.
What do I care? What do I care if it looks like a Nerd's Rope or Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble are on it? I don't care about that.
How about we make it...
So who are you putting that on
Make
there
it look
for?
like a piece of shit. Make it look like dog shit.
Right. Look, make
it smell like that too.
Skull and cross
Make it
guns,
smell like
poison.
Make it smell like skunk.
Right.
And then if you really got to take it, you got to hold your nose.
Most of it smells that way anyway.
Let's go back to me. My point about this whole thing. What are we on time here? My point about the whole thing is that I'll go back here. These edibles, they're another part of the program. The kids are using this stuff. Some of them they're not getting sick. They're using it. It's hard to know. Their friends are giving them. You'll never know. They don't have smoke. And you are encouraging these kids to go along. It's a gateway drug. Look at CDC.
Yeah, but
there's a lot of studies that show it's a gateway drug.
Also, responsible adults who do use these products, they understand that if you get a gummy, you don't swallow that whole thing. You got to cut that in half or sometimes quarters because it's so strong. So now a kid stumbles upon your edible supply and they see a chocolate bar with Fred Flintstone or a Nerd Rope. They're eating the whole thing, and they are going to be messed up for a good long time, not just today, but tomorrow.
But I want to make this point because I have friends go, Kachmar, marijuana's fine. It's no worse than cigarettes. Well, first of all, people, cigarettes are deadly. There's more people died of cancer. I mean, cigarettes are bad. Bad. They cut your circulation, your intellect.
If it gets into somebody's hands, it can be abused. That's the real issue.
My thing is here. You know what? You want to have.
That's what we do. We abuse things.
You want to have marijuana 21 and older, fine. And that's an interesting thing because I'm surprised they didn't go 18. And I don't think a lot of kids who are 18 should be doing a lot of things, but that's another thing. I want to go again in New Jersey. Under 21, you can smoke marijuana anywhere, anytime. Your parents don't have to be told, and the cops can only give you a warning, not a ticket. And if you're under 13, at that point, they're supposed to refer you to drug counseling, which I don't know if that ever happens. Now, you could drink booze on the outside, marijuana. I think they added hashish. Also, while we're at it, in New Jersey, if you're under 18, you could get an abortion anytime, on demand, anytime during the pregnancy. You could be 9 months, 8 months, and doesn't matter. And you don't have to get any consent from your parents. And Jeremy, state of New Jersey will pay for it. They'll put you on welfare. Number two, if you're 16 years old, a boy or a girl, you could have sex with anybody you want. So you could have some 50-year-old predator calling up on the phone to your daughter, your son, whatever, and who knows what they're trying to get. They want to lower that down to 13 in the schools. In the schools, if it's drug related or sexual related, you can't. The parents don't have to be told.
Yeah, I know, but I want to know what happened as a people, right? What happened where we all of a sudden decided that 13 is an okay age to have sex with a kid?
Well, New Jersey is 16, which is freaking young.
Yeah. But
Jeremy,
if they're trying to push it to 13, look, what is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? Because that's where the problem is. We are effed up, man.
We want to, what it is? I think it has a lot to do with the transgender thing. They want to have these kids. I think right now, if you're under 16, I don't know where. I tried to look this up and I don't remember, but I don't know if it's 16 or 13 where they don't even have to notify the parents if they want to start them on, sexual orientation training. There's some schools in this state that say basically you don't have any right for the state to intervene with the state. The state has the right to teach the kids what they want to teach. You have the right to move your kid out of the school, but that's about it, which is a very dangerous thing. I can tell you right now, I'd love to run for politician because I'd run on a board. I'd run on? I would run on parents' rights. You gotta have the parents involved. Listen, at Boston Children's Hospital, they say you got to be 18 to have sex change. To me, I think that's wrong. It should be 21. Yeah. And here's the thing: if you're 15, with parents' consent, they'll remove your breasts. Yeah. Or put breasts on.
This is the thing. You can have
They say what I just said. 15. They'll do that in the state of New Jersey, I'm pretty sure, too.
You can have a scenario at home where a little girl comes to her mother and says, Mom, I pray every night. I pray for this, and I pray for that, and I pray for this. And a lot of times I don't get anything that I prayed for, and the mother says, well, sometimes, God gives you what you need, but sometimes his answer is no. Right. Why aren't our answers no too? We're giving, you can't create a utopia by giving everybody everything that they want. That's ridiculous.
Right. So Jeremy, we want to have equality of opportunity, but equality of outcome, which is your utopia, which is equity, is impossible. Man. It's not going to happen.
You're going to destroy yourselves.
Getting back with this thing with the children, with abortion. Listen, I'm not saying that. Why don't we have a law where it's just even like this? If you're under 18, you don't need the parents' consent. But how about before you get an abortion, you have to go. The parent has to be made aware, sign a paper saying I'm aware of it, not given permission, and the father has to be given, tracked down, say, I know. He could, and they could say no, but the point is, I'm not even getting to that point. My point is, I don't understand where we're going. Now look at Canada, to contrast it. You could do all the drugs you want. We're going to encourage it, right? We're going to encourage you, we'll end your life if you're old, you're feeble, if you're maybe mentally ill or depressed, but God forbid you own a gun. Yeah. And so what? And so, but my point is, how about if you're depressed, we don't off you, or if you're old, we try to accommodate you, make you live. You want to be around for your grandkids. I don't get it, Jeremy. I just don't get it. But anyway, so why? I'm going to make this point, and we'll end this. Why? Why do we care? Why do we care? I tell you why. Because our kids are dying, our grandkids, our kids, our friends' kids, and that's what we don't want. So go.
It sounds all cliche saying it, but
go back. Go here. Go to my thing. This is an older article here. I want to just show this here.
Okay. Yeah.
So this was December 31st. 2022.
Yeah.
It's not older. It's right around the corner. So this is what I want to show. 2022 was a deadly. They put here, but hopefully, year in America opioids crisis. Now this is NPR. This is Democratic Socialist. This is your taxpayer paying for this. This is so far to left. This news organization, National Public Radio. NPR. You familiar with NPR?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so I just want you to read here. So right here. When the history of American long, with the history of American long, devastating opioids crisis is finally written, 2022 may be remembered as both a low point and a turning point. I don't think it's a turning point. The border's wide open. But here, research is a staggering 110 plus thousand, 110,236 people died in a single 12-month period. Joe Biden.
That seems hopeful to me.
Yeah. Now, let me just see. Let me hit here. And I don't know, this is the vital statistic of rapid release. It's out of control. It's out of control. And what most of it is fentanyl that's getting, it's into the crack cocaine, it's into the cocaine, it's into the marijuana that kids are smoking. They're putting fentanyl into that. People are sniffing it, right? Here, let me look at it. The avalanche of drugs spurred a series of major reforms in 2022 by way drug addiction is treated. Changes designed to reduce stigma and improve access. So what Biden's administration did with this past package, nothing about interdiction, nothing about stopping the drug dealers, nothing about stopping it off of the borders. What they're going to do is they're going to try to treat it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's their. So major drug companies, pharmacy chains reach a settlement, opioid crisis. That's all bullshit. The money, but fentanyl got worse, probably a lot worse. Street drugs in America got even more toxic 2022 with the spread of synthetic opioid fentanyl. That's what's killing a lot of people, right? But you go on here.
Anybody will do anything for a pill. It's ridiculous. They're dehumanizing people. It's not a good thing.
Right.
It's not going to go anywhere good if the spread of fentanyl continues.
Right. In 2022, life expectancy in the United States, this is from the CDC. Follow the science. Remember, Fauci, follow the science. That has dropped to the lowest point in 2 decades. Good. This is some girl here. So anyway, overdose deaths are increasing. Right? Drug enforcement in December seized far greater quantities of illicit fentanyl than ever before. I'm trying to see any in here. But drug policy experts say Mexican cartels are still able to smuggle a deadly synthetic opioid into the U.S. with impunity. Does it have anything to do with the open borders? Maybe a wall would help. Republicans made fentanyl a major part. It goes on and on. Majority of opioid being smuggled across the border came through legal points of entry. Bullshit. That's so disingenuous because you know what that
picture.
I want to make a point here. But NPR found that overwhelming majority of opioid being smuggled across the border came through legal points of entry. Well, then they're not doing a good job, but that's bullshit. How much is coming illegally? Come on.
They consider Biden opening the
they
border
got this. See, this is
as a legal crossover. That's what's so bullshit about.
No, but here's the thing, though, Jeremy. They're saying when they say legal ports of entry, they're talking about where all the cars pile up, where it's all There's so many studies. What's happening is you have thousands and thousands of people crossing at the middle of the night. They're getaways. They're bringing in tons of drugs. Jeremy, bullshit. See what it is here. This is how. So they're making it. Oh no. We got to get better interdiction. Good luck. I'm telling you right now. How about cutting the balls off of the fentanyl production in China? How about going to China and say we're cutting you guys off?
That might just start a war, Mike. What are you talking about here? I don't know. I'm gonna have to distance myself, or they're gonna be coming for me.
Let me see.
What about the slackers in 2022? Slackers.
Right. How many people?
Sacklers.
So right
What's
here.
A sackler?
So right here. But I'm gonna make a point. So there's bullshit. I don't. They make it sound like and then here the next thing is lawmakers. At least one drug manufacturer prepared to sell opioid overdose reversal drug over the counter in pharmacies. So that's a good. Let's get more Narcan. Then they're going after these poor people. Well, not poor people. They're going after the Percocet people, which is bullshit. But if you look at this article, there's nothing in here. They're going to go after the companies who sell Percocets. They just said fentanyl is the problem. But Percocets used to be the problem. They're going to go after the companies in the United States and sue them, but we're not going to go after China.
Yeah. Of a Sackler family.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Sackler family. So they had this, so they went after those. They were the bad people, and which is bullshit. I just want to go here. I want to see at the end of it. So here's go. At the Beauty and the Bloodshed, which won the Golden Globes Award at Venice Film Festival, she campaigned to force museums and galleries around the world to break ties with the Sacklers. Not China, not who's making the fentanyl, but the people who sold opioids. All museums and installations need to stop making money from corrupt, evil bastards, Golden says in a documentary where she grazed at one of the opioid protests that rocked the art world. These people are friggin' morons. These people are misguided. These people, come on, Jeremy. Again, Canada, we'll kill you, but we're going to take your guns away. Here, have all the, fentanyl, we're not stopping it through the border, but we're going to get rid of the Percocets, right. Which is it's not the Percocets anymore, dude. And it's going up and up. And, it's coming through the ports, as if that matters. It's coming all over because they don't want to admit that the open borders is killing our kids. It's killing our kids. Anyway, I'm just.
Yeah, we're done.
I'm done.
Yeah,
anyway,
we're done.
Who's this guy here? Oh, Gupta. Here's another one. So listen. Cut me off here. Get rid of this. Gupta. So remember, as the United States says, just say no.
No.
KNOW. Just say no. You know your drugs. Know how to use your drugs. And
know where you can get them affordably. Know where you can.
We sit here and we have these shows, Jeremy, and I'm 65 years old. I've been around a long time, and I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I can't, I try to do the best I can. I'm a physician, and all of that. But one thing is, God gave me some common sense, and we're this country and the Western civilization is going down the tubes. Who sent us
we got Felice, I want to say. Hi, want to offer promotion of your channel viewers.
No, that's nothing. That's all bullshit. Yeah, that's
bullshit.
So here's the deal. And we sit here and we go all of these things that we try to put out there. I don't know how many people hear us. Yeah. We're getting a lot of followers on Twitter. But you know what, Jeremy? The sad thing is people better start waking up because the ship is going down.
Yeah.
And we cannot continue to let these idiots, these crazy people, set the agenda. Okay? We can't. The agenda has to be, we have to bring common sense into everything. And you just cannot do this anymore. Drugs is not good. Cigarettes, I know people are going to do drugs. You want to be over 21 and do drugs, that's bad enough. But the heroin, the people who are addicted, they need heavy-duty interdiction. They need help. I have no problems about decriminalizing it, but here's the thing. Why are we allowing 15, 16-year-old kids to smoke marijuana, out in public? If they're smoking it, give them a ticket, a $50 ticket, and it's got to go to their parents. Let the parents help out. If there's kids in grammar school who don't know about their sex, let the parents get involved. There's nobody better. Now, if you say the parents are terrible, okay, well, then that's a separate situation. Yeah. But you can't encourage, the drug addiction. Now, in Canada, they're going to allow people to have it, but they're not going to let anybody sell it. I understand where that guy, actually, the guy makes sense to a certain degree because then you're going to encourage drug deals. I'd rather take it the other way. No drugs. If you get caught with it, you're going to go, you don't go to jail. You're going to go to mandatory. You're going to go to mandatory treatment.
We've talked on this show before about how, where the days of don't do drugs, just say no and all that. We used to give a crap, but we don't anymore. In fact, we give a crap so less that we're opening up stores to make it easier for people to get safer bad drugs that are going to kill you.
Why? Let me ask you this, Jeremy. Why are so many people using drugs?
Well,
Why?
Because it's filling something that they're not getting in there every day. You know, the vacancy. You
Yeah.
know, they're getting high.
Spiritual emptiness.
Yeah, they're replacing a void with something that is never going to satiate them.
Yeah.
Enough.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And they're dying. And it's, we had the profile last week where the one kid he got on. He's a good kid. He was a religious kid, and he's 15 years old. He go on the internet, bought a pill, thought he was going to get high. Experiment, and it killed him.
Yeah.
And
So when you're a kid, you look, it's just one pill. I'm not taking 5 and overdosing.
No,
you don't realize.
Yeah. So we're
You got to get educated, or just no.
I'm going to throw this out to the governor of this state and the legislators in this state. Rethink what you did with the marijuana. If you're under 21, you get a ticket. You want to decriminalize it. You don't want the kids to go to jail. You don't want them to have a record. I'm fine with that. But you can't let these kids smoke out in the public. You can't let it go. You got to try to hump down the parents. You got to try to get the parents involved. All right. If you're pregnant and you're smoking and you're doing drugs, you know what? To me, that I don't know what to do there, but that person should be taken in and consulted. That baby is being hurt. Yeah. And I don't know if you want to charge that person, but you definitely need to have interdiction. And I'm cool with that. I'm not all about, having everything criminal, but to let it just go on the other end is crazy. And I see it on the beaches where I work. I see it all over the place. And these kids, the car accidents, the alcoholism, it's just not good. We have to, it's behavior that's not good. And I wish we would encourage more religion. I tell people, listen, if you're on the balls of your ass, you're struggling with addiction, struggling with depression, suicide, go to church, go read the Bible. There's hope there. Maybe that'll pull you through.
If you can put your faith in a mystery drug or something horrible like that,
right? That's a good point, Jeremy.
You can put your faith in something more positive than that,
Jeremy. That's a wow, man.
Yeah. I'm spitting bars.
Holy shit. That's out there.
Give it to me. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right. Well, listen, Jeremy, it's been a pleasure. Always hanging out with you. Can you go through can you give everybody our vital statistics?
We're everywhere, guys. We're on YouTube, Facebook. We're on iTunes, Spotify, you name it. Anywhere you can find a podcast.
Radio Free. Well, are we on Radio Free America?
Are we
on the Polish radio station?
But if you want to find out more about Dr. Kachmar across from me, you can go to JerseyShoreFootandLegCenter.com. He's an amazing doctor of the lower extremities. He can, if your legs or feet are blown apart, he'll put them all back together again with only a few pieces missing. Right. And you can also message us with Dr. Kachmar. That's DrKachmar at iCloud.com. And also, I can't stress enough how important it is to share our show. You have the power to let other people find us and let us grow, and so we can keep doing these programs like this.
Yeah, and follow me on Twitter too. We're on Twitter. I'm really got a lot of impact on Twitter.
Like and subscribe on all of our platforms.
Yes.
You'll never miss a show that way.
Yes.
And we love you for it.
Right. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in. Have a happy and holy and safe week.
Yeah.
And
be kind to each other.
Yes,
please.
be kind. No hate. No hate.